Welcome to the Fear and Greed Afternoon Report for Friday, the 2nd of December 2022. I'm Michael Thompson. Every afternoon we've got the 5 stories that happened today that you need to know about, so let's jump into it. Story number 1, the S&P ASX 200 closed down 0.7% today to 7,301 points, but that wasn't enough to dent a good week overall, with the bourse closing 1.3% higher across the week. That's the second week of gains in a row. The energy sector suffered today following a drop in oil prices. Woodside Energy lost 2.6%, Beach Energy declined 2.4%, and Santos shares closed down almost 4%, though that was also off the back of a failed appeal against a federal court judgment over the $5.2 billion Barossa gas project. The worst performer today was corporate travel management, down 5.6%. The big banks were all down, as were the coal companies, and the big miners had an ordinary day too. But a rally in the gold price gave miners of the precious metal a very strong finish to the week. In fact, 4 of the top 5 performing stocks on the market today were gold miners: St Barbara, Capricorn Metals, Silver Lake Resources, and Ramelius Resources. Not bad at all. On to story number 2, and the retrial of former political staffer Bruce Lerman over the alleged rape of Brittany Higgins has been aborted and the charges dropped because of serious concerns about Ms Higgins' mental health. Director of Public Prosecutions for the ACT, Shane Drumgold SC, said it was no longer in the public interest to continue because of the risk to the complainant's life. Bruce Lerman was accused of raping Ms Higgins in the office of their then boss, Liberal Minister Linda Reynolds, in Parliament House. In the early hours of March 23, 2019, after a night out with colleagues, Lerman had denied ever having sex with Ms Higgins. The first trial was cut short on October 27 after 12 days of evidence and submissions in the ACT Supreme Court and 5 days of deliberations because of juror misconduct. On to story number 3 now, and Solomon Lew's Premier Investments, which owns outlets including Smiggle, Dotti, Just Jeans, Portmans and Jackie E, is set for a big Christmas period and back-to-school sales after announcing a surge in trading during the Black Friday sales compared to last fiscal year, where the company lost 43,000 store days because of the pandemic. Things are looking up. Premier said its customers continued to respond favourably to new 2023 ranges across its brands, and the Black Friday trading week was the best ever, including the highest ever global online sales. Premier's share price closed down 0.5% today. Story number 4, Qantas expects to carry over 8 million passengers across the next 2 months as flyers take their holidays. The national carrier will also start 3 new routes in coming weeks and add more flights for popular routes. Qantas will start flights between Brisbane and Tokyo from December 1, and there'll be direct flights between Melbourne and Dallas-Fort Worth from December 3. The inaugural Sydney to Seoul flight takes off on the 10th of December, adding to the Jetstar service to the same destination that started last month. Qantas is also adding flights across the Tasman, with Sydney to Queenstown increasing from 10 return flights per week to 14 per week from mid-December. An additional 3 return flights per week will also be added between Sydney and Fiji for 6 weeks from mid-December. Plenty of options. Story number 5, payday lenders will be prohibited from extending loans that eat up more than 10% of an individual's income after last-minute lobbying by independent Senator David Pocock forced a vote in Parliament last night. According to the Financial Review, consumer groups expressed frustration last week when the Albanese government pulled long-delayed legislation to lift standards in the financial sector after it reneged on a last-minute deal with the Greens to impose $1.1 million fines on law-breaking bankers. But Labor agreed to put the payday lending law changes to a vote after lobbying by consumer groups and ACT Senator David Pocock. The laws, which have been before Parliament since 2017, mind you, amend the Credit Act so payday loan repayments cannot exceed 10% of a person's net income. Payday lenders are essentially kind of lenders of last resort for small amounts and with limited approvals requirements. The loans, known as small amount credit contracts, SACCs, are generally accessed by people on low incomes who can't access mainstream, cheaper forms of credit. That's it for the afternoon report for Friday, the 2nd of December, 2022. Don't forget to hit follow on the podcast and find Fear and Greed on LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Join me and Sean Aylmer tomorrow morning for the weekend edition of the Fast Five by Fear and Greed. I'm Michael Thompson. Enjoy your evening.